Okay, we kind of lost Chuck. Um, I don't know what happened. Then I kind of Facebook kind of kicked me too. So I don't know. We've been having problems with StreamYard. Um, I sent Chuck another invite to come back. I hope he can because it's been very interesting with him. Um, Hopefully, people can come back on. Um, we'll see what's going on here. I hope we. Okay, yep, I'm back up here. Um, he's so I don't know what happened. Got to be StreamYard kicking people. Um, there's a new game out, and it was on my other. I Chuck sending me a message. Let me see what he says. Mm, let's see. Uh, I'm sitting. There we go. See if he gets that one. I don't know what's going on here with his StreamYard. They've been screwing up for me. Uh, and I apologize, people, for that. Um, so we'll see what happens here if Chuck's able to get back. But I'm not sure who posted. There, here he comes, loading in.
Hello?
Hello, Chuck. Can you hear
Hello?
me? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Uh, hey, Bob. Bob's out there now too. I don't know what's going on, Chuck. I even got booted off the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project one, even though my agents were still streaming and that YouTube was. There was a problem with Facebook, I guess. It came up and said that, and I apologize. But
That's all right.
someone,
Can you hear me?
somebody, yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're breaking up real bad.
Okay, that's not good. You know, because we. But anyhow, as I started to say, whoever posted, if they're out there now, posted about a cryptic game that was over in Europe, and they made an American version that just got released. I don't know if that was my buddy Rob saying it or what, but I'd like to find out because I want the game, and we'll find out. We'll see. Let me see if Rob's here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Um, let's see. Can you hear me? Nope, he's gone. I just love when we have problems. All right. Um, he's coming back. He's still in the dark. Let me add him to the stream. Can you hear me, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm
Wow,
yes,
you're
I can
loud.
hear you.
You're loud now, brother.
I'm
Um,
on.
You're on.
Oh, I can see you.
All right, you're still in the dark, but that means your power is out yet. So, excuse me. Where in the hell were we? I'm lost now, brother.
Okay. I was talking. Well, I was talking about the feds. That might be why we
Mm,
got cut off.
yes.
So, so I'll see if I can't make this pretty quick, so it won't happen again. But I got a memo um, from another agency, and they wrote me a letter saying, "Okay, we need specific names, specific dates, and specific places." So I don't think they thought I would send them a letter, and I sent them a 2-page letter with specific names, specific dates, and specific places, and never got a response from them at all. And 3 months passed by, and I get audited by the IRS. And I've never ever had any kind of problems with taxes or the IRS or anything like that. And this gentleman that I told you about, Tal, he called me one night, and he said, "Chuck," he said, "I got a question to ask you." And I said, "All right, shoot." And he said, "A couple months back, did you contact government agencies and you use the Freedom of Information Act to find out about Bigfoot?" And I think my mouth hit the floor. And I said, "Yes, sir, I did." And he said, "I need to know what you asked, what the results were from their responses, and tell me what took place." So I began to told him the agencies that I'd contacted, and Chuck, he goes, "I want you to know you stirred up a hornet's nest." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Do you think that I need to get away from this Bigfoot stuff and quit my show for a little while just to kind of let all that pass me by?" And he said, "Hell no. You keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a damn good job."
All right.
And I when I got to stay at his house, that had been bugging me about how he knew that I had done that. And so I asked him. I said, "Tal," I said, I've been trying to figure out something that's bothered me for a while." And I said, "How did you know that I had used the Freedom of Information Act?" And he said, "Well," he said, "as you know, I've done stuff for the government before." And he said, "I had an FBI agent that I know pretty well. He contacted me and he wanted to know all about you." And I told him that you were a good guy and that you were doing good work. And he said that's all he needed to know. And so, judging from what he told me and judging from what I experienced, they didn't like what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, Tal told me many times, "Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a good job." And he said, "You're making things happen, and that's what we need." And so I did that for a little while longer. And when the COVID thing hit, um, I had I don't know how many shows I had on YouTube, but I had probably over 100 different shows that I did. And all my shows um, were actually put on a different platform, and I didn't have access to them anymore.
Oh, wow. Now, who
And
did that?
I I don't know.
Okay.
It was a crazy deal, and at the time, like I said, it was about the time that COVID hit, and I got really depressed during that time. We couldn't go out into the woods where we usually go. They closed all the parks down. You couldn't go to a park, which I didn't understand that. There's not very many people that go to a park in the middle of winter,
Yep.
and but hey, whatever. But I got really depressed because we couldn't do the things that we normally do when we go out, and once I lost all my shows, they actually ended up on another platform, and somebody copywrote them. And
Oh,
so,
no way.
yeah,
Oh.
so all of my shows were copywritten, and I didn't have access to them, and I can't get access to them because they were copywritten.
Man.
So now I am now in pursuit of getting all that back together. As far as my shows that I did before, I probably won't ever see those again. I know where they're at.
So you're saying you're going to start podcasting again. Is that what you're saying?
That is my goal.
Awesome. That's great to hear. That is great to hear.
I guess, I try to be pretty humble about what I do. And I started getting emails from people. I had truck drivers that would call me in the middle of the night.
Oh, I'm losing them again. Oh man, Chuck, don't go. Folks, if you go to my YouTube channel, Chuck's gone. Oh, he's coming back. If you go to my
Okay, I'm
YouTube
back.
channel, there he is. There he is.
I'm here.
All right. If you go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, please, to keep me alive. And I guess I'm going to have to copyright my stuff. You there, Chuck?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
Continue.
Yeah, continue.
Oh, okay. So I'd have truck drivers in the middle of the night call me, and they send me emails, and they said, you know what, you don't know how much you mean to us, because you keep us awake at night. And so I didn't think I was that important at the time, and so I've decided that, you know what, I still get emails, I still get messages from people. You need to get your show back on the air. So I'm gradually getting to that point. So
just let me know when you do, brother. Just let me know.
I will definitely do that.
That's the way you said that you didn't realize how you meant the other ones. You know about Kerry Arnold.
Yes.
Yeah. He never knew how much he meant to everybody out there.
Right.
And the shock of what happening to Kerry had one hell of a ripple effect of us losing him like that. Granted, it was a traffic accident and that, but he had brought so much information forward, brought so many people to the forefront in this. Get it, and that's what you were doing. I just lost him again. Let's see. You kind of bumped out of
Are you there,
Chuck? Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
As I was saying, Kerry meant a lot to so many people, and it seems like you do too. Get that podcast up. Get yourself out there again.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to. That ain't a lie. I'm not, not just Mary and David did I talk about you two, okay? Other people, and you're a genuine person, and I'm not just blowing smoke, people. He is a genuine person. He is very humble. So this might get to him. So uh, I don't know if he can hear me because it's buffering on his. But lost connection. Add to stream.
Boy,
There you are.
they just don't want us to. They just don't
No,
want us to do this show.
yeah, I'm telling you, they start having you buffering and everything.
Yeah.
But I just told everybody, and like I was telling you, you mean a lot to a lot of people. And I talk to a lot of different people about you. Get your show up, get it running, get the
Yeah.
word out there.
Yeah.
You are one of the
They need.
forefronts, Chuck. Do it.
Yeah, it
Uh,
needs to be done.
um,
So
yeah, Mary wants you to talk. First, she goes, I agree. Chuck, get your podcast back on the air again. And then she goes, talk to us about last week's Oklahoma research trip.
right.
Rocky Mountain High? No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was supposed to keep my mouth shut on that.
So she wants me to talk about this last trip.
Yes.
Okay. Um, this area is has always been a hot spot area. It's where the siege of Honolulu took place. We were only about a mile down the road from where that actually took place, and that's a kind of a long story about what happened there. Um, but the cabin we stayed in is a buddy of mine. He was actually my guide on the very first trip that I went on, and me and him are like brothers, and he lets me go down there anytime I want to go. And we've been down there quite a few times in certain different areas. I wanted to take Mary and Debbie and the other two guys. I kind of wanted them to see some of the stuff that I've seen down there. Um, the terrain down there is very rough and rugged. A lot of rocks, a lot of creek bottoms, a lot of water holes. And I knew, that Mary and Debbie would have a hard time getting to some of those
Right.
areas. And some of these areas down there, you have to. There's a lot of logging roads down there, and you have to drive 4-wheelers to get into some of these areas. You can't go in a 4-wheel drive pickup. You can't do a side by side down
Right.
there. It's just it's very rough and rugged terrain. But that whole area down there has always had activity. Um, and I thought about staying in the cabin and talked to the guy, this buddy of mine, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead." And so we stayed at the cabin. There's been a lot of things that have happened around the cabin. Um, there's a female that hangs around the cabin quite a bit. She's been seen several times. She actually got caught on one of the video cameras one night, and she's been seen several times. I actually casted the very first track on the property, and me and my son went down there and spent the weekend down there one time, and he was in one of the bedrooms. In fact, he was in the bedroom that Debbie and Mary were in, and I was laying on the couch. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear footsteps on the front deck, and I I laid there and listened to it, and all of a sudden the door handle started jingling,
Oh,
and
wow.
they they were trying to get into the cabin, and
All right. He's buffering again. Darn it. Hello, Dave Rupert. He's out there. Um, I don't know what's going on with him buffering all the time. All right, there.
Okay.
You all right? You're
Can you hear
back.
me?
Yes, sir.
Boy, I tell you, they're just giving us all kinds of heck.
Yeah, they are. Hey, say hi to Mr. Dave Rupert. He's out here. Uh,
Who's this?
Dave Rupert. He's
Okay.
him and his wife's
Hey,
going to be
Dave.
on my show November 11th. Uh, great people, great researchers. They're awesome people. I'm going to get out with them here soon. Believe me, I got to. Um, Diane's still here too, but you should never brought up the government.
Do I now?
You should never have brought up the government. We wouldn't have this problem
Yeah,
tonight.
I know. That's my fault, dadgummit.
I'm sorry I had to say that.
I'm
But
stirring up
anyhow,
that. I'm stirring up that hornet's nest again.
yeah. Now, was that the female that tried to get in the cabin?
Yes. And so, I told the owner about that, and a couple weeks later, he and 3 other guys went down there, and 2 of the guys were from Colorado. They went down to research there, and the last night that they were there, they had to get up early the next morning to get to the airport to fly back to Colorado. But when they got up, the front door was wide open. They'd forgotten to lock the door.
Oh no.
And I think my opinion is I think she actually came into the cabin that night and was checking things out. I've got reports from Girl Scout camps and Boy Scout camps where that actually took place, where one actually walked into the cabin and was looking around. So I know that stuff happens, and I've got reports of that happening, and I think at the cabin that was what happened that night. I think she came into the cabin and was checking things out. But
I wouldn't doubt it one
the
bit.
ones that are down there are pretty docile. They're not too aggressive. Although this trip showed how aggressive they.
Oh man, there he goes again. um, unfortunate. I think he's having problems because he's having a problem with the electric there right now. All right, he's coming back. There he is. Hello, Chuck again.
Hey, I want to apologize for this. I didn't mean for it to be breaking up every 5 minutes, but I apologize.
That's all right, but
So
this time you didn't buffer, you just popped out. It's like whoa. So
yeah. So that night, the last night we were there, we heard some howls and screams, and I heard footsteps outside the cabin, and I know they were around the cabin that night. They actually threw rocks at the cabin several times, and we left. I think we left on a Thursday morning, I believe, and the owner of the cabin took his girlfriend down there and got there on Friday, and he went out to turn the water on and the electric on, and when he did, he had this real stinchy smell show up, and he could smell. He said it smelled like, people describe it all the time as smell like skunkish, or smells like
right.
urine, or smells like just real ranky smell. And he smelt that when he went out to turn everything on. And he said, I knew what it was when I smelled it. And he said, we went ahead and got in the cabin. And he said 30 minutes after we got in the cabin, we had rocks pounding the cabin. So
Oh,
He
wow.
he
Now,
got a
did
little
you
upset.
guys have the smell? Because I didn't ask Mary, but did you guys have the smell when you were there?
Um, I don't recall that we did. Um,
Okay.
but that cabin, me and one of my buddies spent 7 days down there or 5 days down there about 2 years ago. And we actually had one come up on the front deck of the cabin, and there was one on the back deck of the cabin. And my buddy was sleeping on one end of the cabin on the back side, and I was sleeping in the front of the cabin. And I woke up about probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and heard footsteps coming up the deck on the front. And when we woke up the next morning, I asked him. I said, "Did you hear all that outside last night?" He said, "You talking about the footsteps on the deck?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You heard that from all the way to the front?" And I went, "What do you mean all the way from the front? I was in the front." I said, "That's where I heard it." And he said, "Well, I heard footsteps on the back of the deck too." So we had two visitors that night. Um, and I make sure every time I go out there now that those doors are locked,
Yeah.
because I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
wake up in the I don't want I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night with something staring at me.
It might be the female, and she might say, "Ooh, lover boy." That's it. Wake
Yeah,
up, wakey, wakey. Oh, that
yeah, exactly.
I don't
So
think she'd want to get near me because I'd be feeling my pants. But no, with
right,
all honesty, I don't blame you. I keep the doors locked too. That's if they're opening and coming in or trying to open, if they're jiggling the handle, they
yeah.
can open it. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Chuck. Um, now, a very important
You
question
got any? We got some more questions.
from me. You got a very important one from me. When me and TJ Seaman comes next year, Mary might be going again. I'm not. I think she's trying to plan on it. Um, the area you're going to take us. How aggressive are they there in that area? And he's buffering again.
I'm back.
Yeah, you are. Okay. Wow. Uh, now, how aggressive are they in the area you're going to be taking us? Are they real
Um,
aggressive, passive, in between?
I would say at the cabin, it's pretty much passive. I mean,
Okay.
I think they're more curious than they are anything else.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of reports that go back hundreds of years in that area where people have been kidnapped by Bigfoot, and there's actually a county down there called Lafleur County, and Lafleur was a commander in the well, I don't know his rank. I think it was a lieutenant maybe. Um, the Indian tribe down there contacted Lafleur and said, "Hey, our Native American women and their children are being kidnapped, and um, you guys got to go out there." They thought they were bandits, and so Lafleur got his unit together, and they got on horseback and rode for miles and miles, tracking, and they come to an area that was kind of a wide open area. And when they got to that area, they found bodies and bones and just all kinds of remains piled up in a pile. And Bigfoot, several Bigfoot come out of the wood line and attacked Lafleur and his troops. Lafleur was actually killed. Um, Supposedly, he stuck one with a saber and shot him at the same time. And within minutes, his head was rolling on the ground.
Oh,
And the rest of his unit, I think his unit was mainly Native American Indians. and they actually killed the rest of them that were there. But LaFleur lost his life, and a couple other people lost their lives. And at the in LaFleur County, there's actually a statue of LaFleur on his horse in the middle of the town square. But that whole story is people try to sweep that under the rug, but there's too many eyewitnesses from back then that knew what happened and saw
Right.
what happened. And there's reports like that out there. The place that me and Mary and all of us went 3 years ago, there's an old Indian legend. We were at a place called Lake of the Arbuckles, and there's an old legend there that the tribe that was there kept losing their horses, and they got a hold of the shaman, and the shaman went up on top of a hill and carved a Bigfoot head on the top of the hill. It's still there today. You can still see it.
Oh wow.
But he asked, I guess when he carved the carving, he asked the Bigfoot not to steal the horses anymore. And after that, none of the horses were bothered after that.
Huh.
So you hear stories like that. There's a lot of folklore here in Oklahoma about that kind of stuff. And, there are some spotty areas where there's been a lot of missing people that have disappeared and bodies never found. And I mean, you hear stories like that. I don't know what
Well,
to think about all that stuff. I mean, I believe the stories,
every
but
area got their folklores. How much is believable? Who knows? You know,
right,
I believe in some that from around this area, and there's other ones. It's like, even though I'm into this paranormal and all, it's still kind of hard for me to believe some of these folklores. But
yeah,
we found out
I know.
we
I know
found
when I
out from
was
some older people in this area, some of the folklores are not just folklores; they are true. So,
right.
man,
Yeah,
that's
and there's the siege of Honabi that took place down there. Um, there was a family that went in there and bought a house, and I think their dad. There were three brothers, and the dad told his sons that, hey, we can get all the deer we want down here. The deer are everywhere, and so they bought this house to start killing deer. Um, and they planted clover out there, which brought all the deer in.
right.
And when the deer came in, that's when they started having all kinds of issues. Supposedly, there was a Bigfoot shot by those guys, and they they called the BFRO. The BFRO showed up and they wanted to send some investigators there, and the brothers said, no, we want these. You're going to bring a professional hunter down here, and you're going to kill them because we want them gone. And so the BFRO finally agreed to that, as far as I know. And they sent two researchers. They sent a cameraman and a researcher down there, and then they hired a professional hunter to show up down there too. And after the first night there, they had so much activity that all three of those guys left the next day. And it ended up the townspeople down there have been living with these things for years and years and years, and have never ever had any problems with them. And when the townspeople found out that one was shot, and they actually had part of a skull, I think, and they said the blood on the ground was as much as a 5-gallon bucket full of blood that was on the ground. So they definitely shot it. And there was a truck driver. There was a truck driver on that same night that was coming down the mountain and stopped at the stop sign at the end of the mountain. And as he was sitting there at the stop sign, he saw two Bigfoot carrying this other one, and it was going up the opposite ridge line. And supposedly, story has it that they buried it up there on top of that mountain somewhere. And so there's, I mean, you hear those kind of stories, and I do believe the siege of Hammurabi definitely took place, because that happened not too long ago,
Right.
back in, I think, the early 2000s.
Yep.
But I mean, you hear that stuff, and it's kind of like Land Between the Lakes. What happened at Land Between the Lakes, where the family got slaughtered.
Yeah, and yeah, and people say, "Oh, that's just folklore." I don't buy that. Those ones I don't buy as folklores. Yeah. Some of the story might have got embellished a little. Who knows? But no, they're not folklores. Those are true stories.
No. Yeah, true stories, definitely.
Yeah.
And the two people that were killed in Brown Springs, they swept that completely out underneath the rug. And there was a news reporter that was at the scene and described what he saw at the scene, and it was pretty gruesome. And I think the thought on that particular event, there's a lot of speculation that it could have been a dog man, which is, I mean, you're talking about a whole different ball of wax there.
Yeah, very much so.
And, we have dogmen in Oklahoma. They've been spotted several times. In fact, on the pictures that I sent on the album, one of the pictures that I stuck in there is a picture of a dogman that was in the Wichita Mountains, which is down by Fort Sill. And there was a guy that was down there, and he was looking for Frank and Jesse's gold that's supposedly buried there. And he wasn't a believer. He doesn't believe in Bigfoot or any of that kind of stuff. But he called one of my research buddies and said, "Hey, there's something following me." And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "How far is it from you?" He said, "It's only about..."
Oh, there he goes again. We're losing him, folks. Hey, all right,
Hello?
you there? There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. So he, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right. So he told him, he said, "Can you take a picture of it?" And he said, "Yeah, I can take a picture." He said, "Well, take a picture and send it to me." And he sent him a picture, and the picture that he took is a dog man. You can see the tufts of the ears on top of the head and everything. It's definitely a dog man picture. And he told him, he said, "You need to get out of there as soon as possible." He said, "Don't run, don't panic, just get to your vehicle and leave." And he says, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, we call it a dog man." And he said, they're very vicious. They don't care if it's daylight or dark. They come out, and they're not afraid of people. And so he got to his car, and it followed him all the way to his car. And I don't think he's been back there since.
Probably not. I know. Yes, Mary. Mary says you have that picture of the dog man in the photo album in the group.
Yeah.
So, and I know if I saw a dog man, I know the Bigfoot scared me. That thing's gonna make me panic for everything I heard about them. So yeah, I don't blame the guy for not going back. But you know what? We have them here in Mercer County too. There's been reports of them here, so they're everywhere too.
I tell you what, Bill. I've been out in the woods quite a bit. I've never seen one. I've seen some tracks, that were really huge, and they look like dog tracks, but they're huge. And I've never seen one. Now a couple of my guys have seen them out in western Oklahoma, and if I came across something like that, I might be putting up the big stuff. I might be getting out of the big stuff for sure if I saw something like that,
Right.
because that scares the hell out of me. I
Uh,
don't want to come across anything like that.
well, when I was out at the reservoir here, uh, me and Brenda Sproul. Now, at the one part of the reservoir,
Yeah.
we found a trackway of prints, 14-inch prints that went for over 100 yards, left, right, left, right, left, right. Um, then the other time we found it was about that big around paw print, and it wasn't bear, it was canine, and I was calling it a co-wolf, even though we don't have them in Pennsylvania. I think it was a co-wolf. From what I heard, dogman's prints are a little different than wolf prints. I don't know for sure. I never really studied up on it. What do you think, Chuck? Are they similar to wolf prints, or I heard some are
Um,
3-toed, some are 5-toed.
yeah, the tracks that we have found, I actually captured a couple years ago. We had a snowfall one night, and I got a phone call from a researcher, said you need to come to the city, and there's a couple lakes around Oklahoma City.
There he goes again. Uh-oh. Is he going to make it back? Here he comes.
Okay.
All right,
Uh,
you're back.
they had built a brand new housing addition on this lake, and at the time there was only probably 3 families in that housing addition, and they woke up one morning after the snowfall, and we this track, I got a picture of the track, but um, it is the strangest looking track I think I've ever seen. It looked like there were 3 toes in the front with claws, and there was a toe in the back with a claw. And I'm talking, this was probably a good 8 or 9 inch track. And this
Oh,
thing
wow.
had walked out of the creek bed, uh, and was walking back and forth behind these new homes. And you could see the trackway going back and forth. And then it finally went back down to the creek and disappeared. I don't know what that was.
Could that be
I've
similar
heard
to the
from
Egyptian Anubis, or whatever it's called? The dog-like creatures from Egypt.
right Anubis.
Yeah, Anubis. That's it. Sorry about that. But yes.
I don't know. It's the strangest print that I've ever seen, and I do have a picture of it, but I didn't send that picture to you guys. I might send it to you. It's a strange looking track, and now we have found other tracks that look like a wolf print that were bigger than the size of your hand. If you stick your hand down beside it, it's twice the size of your hand.
Yes. There he goes again. Yeah, Chuck, you're jumping in and out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I'm causing you guys all kinds of trouble tonight.
I just keep waiting for you to pop back in so I close out the other one because the other one's just buffering. But so what kind of those 8-inch prints of that wolf type print.
Yeah.
But was it just one print or was there several?
There were it was the trackway.
Oh wow.
But I just got the one photo of the track.
Right.
But I can send that to you and put it in the.
Hey, send one to me. Send it to the group too. Because I want to study that. I definitely want to study it. But it's about 20 to 9 now. And
Okay.
we can go another 20 minutes if you want, or you don't work tonight?
You can have me as long as you want me. So
well, let's do another 20 minutes here, and then we'll call it an evening for now. Now with that trackway that you found, you said that was like an 8-inch print. Now, was it pacing back and forth type trackway, or was it just headed like going up a trail?
I missed that. It was kind of garbled.
That trackway you found, was it going up a trail or pacing back and forth?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pacing back and forth behind the homes, and like it was going from house to house looking for something,
Oh,
and then it went back down into the creek bed.
whoa! That it was looking for something. Oh, there he goes again. All right, Chuck, you there? There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can. It's pretty garbled, but I can hear you.
All right, we can continue this another night.
Okay.
All right. Instead of keep fighting it.
I want to apologize to everybody about this. I guess I ruffled some feathers or something.
Don't worry about it, brother. You will be back on.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Anytime.
You keep me interested, bud. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, you got some great stories, and I know you got a bunch more to tell us. I need to learn a lot more from you.
I got a pocketbook full of stories, buddy.
I bet you do. And definitely get your podcast back up going again. I'll definitely be subscribing to it. I'll guarantee you that. And
okay.
And it's great having you on tonight, Chuck. I'm glad you jumped in here. I'm very appreciative of it. Believe me, buddy. I'm very appreciative.
I'm honored. I'm honored, and I appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah. The government don't appreciate it. They just shut them up again. But yeah, I'm very appreciative that Chuck was able to jump back in here and doing this. There he is.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I appreciate what you guys are doing up there, and I'm glad to be a part. I appreciate it.
We're honored to have you along with us, Chuck. Believe me. And thank you again. And I'll be talking to you in messages and that here. And we'll get back on together and this time we won't ruffle some feathers.
Yeah.
But no.
I won't talk about the feds anymore.
I will. Oh shoot.
Okay.
Here we go. But thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you here soon.
Yes, sir. Enjoy it.
Okay, everybody. That was Chuck Schlabs. A lot of back and forth, having trouble there. As soon as he started talking about the government, man, they just went haywire. So, conspiracy theorists or not, that's weird. But I appreciate everything he said and done on the show tonight. And hopefully you can all go to my YouTube, subscribe. More subscribers, more I can keep it going. Other than that, Mary Fabian, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Thank you. She's headed down to Fayette County, down to Roscoe for the Squatch Tricking Free or Treating Fest for the kids and that. And it's a little Bigfoot candy pass out thingy that Ron House putting on down there in Roscoe. If you guys are able to, go down, support it. It's like from 11 to 5 or 10 to 5. Mary's talking sometime tomorrow. It's a good event. Ron, he supports all the veterans and that, and he does a lot for the veterans. He's doing this for the kids too. So get out there, support them. And here's my thing. Paranormal is the new normal. Good night, all.